Hello, folks. Welcome to Holding On with Holder, a show where I interview interesting people and talk about interesting topics. Today, I got Brother Dak Helgesson. He is a Freemason and a pagan from the state of Hawaii. Welcome, brother. Glad to have you with us. I did not hear you. Your sound is not on right now.
Uh, is that better?
There you go. There you go.
All right.
So,
Pleasure to be here.
okay. Tell us a little bit about you, brother. Who are you?
So I'm 38. I live in Hilo, Hawaii area. Been a Mason for 10 years. Been practicing pagan for 20, 25 years. Got into it when I was a teenager.
So, do you think that being a pagan and being a Mason do they go hand in hand for you?
For me, they do. I think because the big thing about Freemasonry is the belief in a supreme being without defining who that being has to be. So for my own experience, my different paths I've explored, my own are mostly polytheistic, but those always have a singular sort of supreme being that is at the top of the hierarchy. And so for me, it's blended very well.
Okay, good. I can see the rain rushing down off your roof behind you. It looks like a waterfall.
Yeah, it's a bit torrential. And 20 minutes ago, like I said, we were in beautiful sunny weather.
Well, we have a joke here in East Tennessee. We have all four seasons in 1 month. So
Ah, that works.
that's just typical. It may be 75 degrees one day and snow the next.
I'm
Yeah,
originally from Portland, Oregon, and we had the same saying that we do out here. Don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes.
and it'll change. There you go. There you go. So tell me how being a pagan and being a Mason how it affected your life. Would you say it's made your life better?
Um, I would. It's being a pagan has codes of conduct that come with it, and behaviors and spirituality that is different than what you find in the sort of traditional religions, for me. And I found that for myself, Freemasonry has enhanced a lot of the values and a lot of the degree work is very, very similar to a lot of the ritual work that, you know, in that there are routines of how things are done. And so that I found it very similar and complementary and very enhancing to my own life and both paths, both being a Mason and a pagan.
Yeah. Now the lodge that you're in is it mostly pagans or is it different belief systems?
Um, it's varies. A lot of the lodge members are Christian. Um, we have people from we have a couple people who are Islamic. We have a few of us who are pagan, like I think like two or three of us. So it's really a diverse bunch of individuals.
Mhm.
And I think the thing I love most about Masonry is that it brings together individuals from all backgrounds and all spiritualities, and yet it gives us a common ground to start up conversations.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. The world needs a lot more peaceful conversations now instead of so much division and hate.
Right, right.
Now, I live in East Tennessee. We call it the Bible Belt. And so most of the Masons here are Christian. I've even been lodges where they actually have pictures of Jesus hanging on the wall, which is
I've never seen
very,
that in our.
it's very unmasonic, isn't it? But it's okay here. It's okay here. Uh,
Well, and even myself as a pagan, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think that the biggest issue is, and one of the lessons we learn in masonry is the whole subduing our passions. I think that the fact that to get offended that someone else's deity is on the wall is a tad bit of our own ego. It says more about us than it does about the situation.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot to be said for tolerance, and
Exactly.
there's not a lot of that around these days.
No, there's too much division.
Yeah. Do you get a different feeling, for example, if a pagan is being initiated into masonry as a Christian? Is it a different atmosphere?
You mean from the lodge members?
Yeah, yeah,
No, I don't think I've never in essence been treated differently, or it's opened a lot of conversations of, oh, I'm not familiar with that. What's it about?
yeah.
I would say the biggest difference, at least in my discussions with fellow brothers over the years, is that because being pagan, we tend to practice magic and the belief in that there are forces of nature and things around us. I have noticed in a sense that for the other pagan brothers I've encountered, that we experience the degree work slightly different because we are approaching it just as we would any other ritual we do. And so at least in my experiences, we tend to take a much deeper meaning and experience things that our Christian brethren might not see the same way because they're not looking for it.
Okay, okay. Uh, what are the different types of pagans? Can you tell me briefly what's the difference between a Druid and a Wiccan and, a Gardnerian and all this different things?
Oh yeah. So not a problem. Like I said, I've been doing pagan for about 25 years. I started off in my very early years, as many pagans do, with Wiccan, and Wiccanism being our first sort of stepping stone into the bigger pagan world. Wiccans will believe in a god and goddess. There will work occasionally with their deity, but Wiccan primarily are holding to one god, one goddess. So it's the combination of the male and female energies to bring life and creation. Wiccans will hold to the law of three, which is that anything they send out comes, good or bad, comes back threefold. And so they tend to stick to much more of the healing, prosperity, plant magic, divination, things like that, things that are considered neutral or very positive. They won't go into other areas that they would consider gray or dark.
Now, would Druidism be considered darker than Wiccan?
Not darker, but different. Druids tend to come out of the Ireland area, Welsh, Scotland, those regions. Druids tend to be more connected to specific groves of forests and very specific spots. They're also, throughout history, were considered more to be advisors Their magic is entirely different. It is elemental, which is similar to Wiccans, but Druids work on a whole different branch of system. Not darker, just different.
Now, now, you mentioned magic. Now, that word puts fear into a lot of people. So, can you just explain a little bit so our viewers can see what exactly is that? Because a lot of people hear that and they think, oh, you're a Satanist, you're doing all,
I
you're
get
eating
that. Yeah.
babies and you're killing everybody. And so, what?
Right. I'm consorting with demons
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
hexing people. No.
yeah.
Um, Matt, so what it comes down to, the basic thing I tell most people who've never done it is a differentiation of terms. Christians and Christianity and most of the other religions, they pray. They send a prayer. So if a family member's sick, they're going to pray for them to be healed. If, they're looking for a job, they're going to pray to, get a job. Magic, from our aspect, a spell is the same thing as a prayer. It's just different. The only difference is that in a prayer, you're typically requesting help from a deity or a being to facilitate your request. In magic, you're using a spell, you're using the energy of plants, of stones, of the energy that's cosmically and universally around us to begin with, and we're putting it towards the same thing. You would use a healing, most Christians would use a prayer. We might take a picture of the person, that our friend who's sick, and we're going to surround that picture with, lavender, which is a very calming flower, and its energy is going to help them to relax. We're going to use, a green candle, because that is prosperity and growth, and what we're trying to do is help their immune system to grow and strengthen. So it's the same thing as a prayer, just different means of getting to the outcome and who we're requesting to do it.
So, is that something sacred?
Very. Most of us, we won't. And the other thing that people assume is, oh, I'm pagan, I cast magic, I do it all the time. No, just there are certain sacred rituals that I do every day. Just like people will pray before they eat, I have certain things I do each day, but it is very sacred. But a lot of it is things that I don't do all the time. I'm not going to, be doing full rituals unless it's a specific time of the year or at a specific event. So it is very sacred, and we approach it the same way.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Now, are druids all male?
There are some branches of Druidism that are male. There are some that are co-ed. It really depends on the school that you get with. A lot of the traditional Druid orders were male. But there are others that, as we've progressed, or as Druidry and paganism as a whole has progressed, to where, they've led up and it's both at times.
Yeah. I know a lot of people seem to think that Wiccans are all females. Uh, and they say any kind of witch is a female, and they got these weird names for the males. And it's
The warlock, which
yeah, yeah,
I've never once, outside of like Dungeons and Dragons and video games and movies, I've never once heard a practicing pagan identify themselves as a warlock. The misconception of witch being male or female seems to be one that was given to pagans rather than, started by pagans.
yeah. Now, if someone were to refer to you as a witch, would that be offensive to you?
Not offensive, but it would be a misclassification. To I don't typically go with titles or labels much, but I tend to be more of what they would call a mage or a magi. And that's just because witchcraft and being a witch is kind of a specific path. Whereas, and since I don't follow that, it wouldn't be a correct term.
Okay. Okay. Now, you being a Freemason, can you
Yes.
tell us, anybody that's asked you, what can I gain by becoming a Freemason? What would you say to them?
Um, the things that you can gain are a much deeper understanding of yourself. If, and then additionally, friendship, service to your community, service to your fellow brothers. Like I tell a lot of people, and I've told the story to quite a few people. When I first moved out here to Hawaii, it's friendship from people you don't know. I moved out here, I didn't really know anyone. I had to get my dog from one side of the island to the other. It's a 2-hour drive, it's 65 miles, and I knew no one. I couldn't find a truck. I had offered to pay people to give them gas, and nobody was helping me. One of my friends mentioned, "Hey, you're a Mason. Reach out to the lodge in that area." So I did. I hadn't even thought about that with the stress of the move, because it's a 2,500-mile move from Portland, Oregon. So I reached out to the lodge. The secretary of the lodge got back to me the next day, and by the following evening, a brother I'd never met was willing to drive the 2 hours, pick me, my other half, and our dog up at the airport, drive us back to the other side of the island, and wouldn't take gas or nothing. He was like, "Nope, helping out a fellow person." And
Good.
so the friendships that you gain and that is much bigger. I always joke, if you're looking for treasure or controlling the world, we can't help you with that.
No, no, we don't do that. That's that's those Illuminati people.
Yeah. Those great guys.
Yeah, I get a lot of emails from those people, and a lot of them hit me up on Twitter. I mean, they're just con artists trying to, get somebody to pick
Want my
their
bank
pocket.
account.
Yeah, yeah, they promise you millions of dollars right off the bat. Just send your banking account information, just like those Nigerians. Uh,
Oh yeah, I encountered my first one, I've told people, I was beginning to feel left out. Encountered my first message to my Facebook 2 days ago with, "Hey, you've been chosen to to become an honorable Illuminati. Come join us. Give me your bank
yeah,
account, and we'll give you $10 million and fame."
yeah. And I've had some people contact me thinking that the Masons and this Illuminati is the same thing. So,
Yeah.
it's like, can you help me to become a Mason and a great Illuminati? I'd say, yeah, get out of here. Uh,
Yeah, likewise.
it is an adventure being a Freemason, and I've met some great people being a Freemason. Um, some of them not so great, but that's to be
Yeah,
expected anywhere.
yeah,
Uh,
you've got bad apples in every bunch.
yeah, that's true. But I did an interview with the brother Salman Sheikh recently, and he's been in masonry for several years. He's only 28 years old, but he is a Freemason diehard. He is dedicated. He is a great, great example and inspiration. He really is. So if you
It's
get
nice to see the younger ones getting
yeah,
in.
yeah. So if you want to see a good Freemason talk about the positive things, you might want to check out that video. That's on my Facebook page. Uh,
Yeah, I'll definitely have to.
and I'm glad to be able to put this one on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and I will send you a link also. And
I
you can
appreciate
download
that.
if you want or whatever, assuming I don't screw this up, trying to put it on to YouTube. But thank you, brother, again. And is there any last words you'd like to say to people?
For anyone who doesn't know or has been curious about, Masonry, I would say Google your local area, find the lodge, and reach out. A lot of times people over the years I've talked to, and they're like, well, I've never been invited to join. And it's like, that's not how it works. You got to knock on the door first, and reach out to the lodges, and the secretaries will almost always reach out very quickly and be like, this is when we meet, come down and talk to us.
Yeah. I have met people that were really under the wrong impression, thinking that you have to be invited, which
Yeah.
is just the opposite. To be one, ask one. If you want to be a Mason, ask a Mason. But thank you again for being on, brother. I appreciate your patience, and I appreciate your good spirit, and I will be in touch. And thank you again, and aloha to you. It looks like the rain has stopped. I don't see the waterfall coming off the roof.
It's letting up for the moment, but
Okay.
And I appreciate you having me here. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Thank you very much, brother. God bless.
All right. Bye.